Hello. Hi. Welcome. Hey, boo, hey. It's your boy, Jakai Milan, darling, and I'm back with another YouTube video. And if you haven't by now, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. And also, make sure you go view some of my old videos and give them some likes and comments as well. Now, today we're going to be talking about a crucial topic. Today we're going to be talking about domestic violence and toxic relationships. And I also want to shed some light on being cautious while dating. It's subjects that I feel demand our attention and understanding. So let's start by shedding light on these relationships and what they entail and understanding the warning signs and addressing them. I want to talk about these subjects. I want to talk about these subjects because I've been seeing a lot of stories on social media and on the news about toxic relationships and domestic violence gone terribly wrong. And I just want to give my opinion on some of the stories that I've heard. And I also want to give my opinion on toxic relationships and domestic violence as a whole. And these, of course, are all my opinions. And everybody has their opinion. But this is mine.
You ain't gonna understand everything. And everything ain't meant for you to understand.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
So yes, I'm back with another YouTube video, and this is episode 5 of That's My Opinion. And this episode will be a little bit more serious, and these topics that I'm going to talk about is something that really touches my heart, and these stories really touch my heart. And that's why I want to speak out on these topics and speak out on these stories and shed light and shed awareness to these things. They're very important, and it happens every day, day to day, to everyday people. It doesn't just happen to people that you see on the news. It happens to your sister, your brother, your auntie, your mom, etc., etc. So I wanted to talk about these things and really delve deep into it. And I want you guys to join in the conversation. So I want to make sure that you guys comment and tell me what you think of the video as it goes along. And also make sure that you subscribe and like the video. So first, I just want to say this first story, it really touched my heart really bad. And I just now learned about this story, so I don't know too many details about it. I just really learned about it, but I wanted to add it into the video because I feel like it's very important and it needs some light shed on it, and it's a very scary situation. So I'm going to let you guys watch the clip, and when I come back, I'm going to give my opinion on the whole situation.
Order against her ex-boyfriend, but it wasn't enough to keep her safe. Her ex showed up outside the medical office where she works, and while she was on the phone with 911 trying to get help, he fatally shot her. It was the end of the workday. Police say the victim had gotten into her car in the parking lot. That's when her ex-boyfriend showed up and used his car to box her in. She had a protective order against him and called 911 for help. She was on the line with the dispatcher as things escalated.
He is now out of the car, just staring at the caller. He's telling the caller that he's going to kill her.
She was shot while she was on the phone with dispatch as our officers responding to the scene, and that suspect quickly left the area before our officers get here.
Using license plate readers, police were able to track the suspect's white SUV as it made its way into Maryland. Prince George's County Police stopped the vehicle in an Oxon Hill neighborhood and took the suspect into custody. A gun was found inside the SUV.
It's just so sad.
This woman didn't want to be seen on camera, but she works in the same building and saw the victim in the cafe earlier today.
And that's the scary thing about it. Like, we can't even come to work and be safe. Like, just, it's like he calculated the times and everything when he knew she was going to get in the car.
Victim did nothing wrong in this case. You know, victim showed up. This is her place of employment. This is a sad, tragic case.
Police have not released the name of the victim yet. We just know that she's in her 30s. Both she and the ex-boyfriend are from Maryland.
So as you've seen in that news clip, she actually did everything she was supposed to do. She got a protective custody, and she was on the phone with 911 dispatch when he showed up, and all of those things. And I'm going to get more into how 911 doesn't really protect domestic violence survivors and toxic relationships. I'm going to get into that with the next video as well. But I just want to say that those pieces of papers literally help nobody. If somebody wants you, they can still get you. What are you supposed to do? Just hold the piece of paper up and throw it at them? I mean, of course you're supposed to call the police, but when the things are happening now, it's like a real situation. I also have the clip of when it actually happened. I think I'm either going to play the clip or the audio, but here it is right here, and then I'm going to come back with my thoughts.
You ain't going to do nothing but get yourself in trouble, bro.
I have a restraining order on you.
Call the police. That's my police.
That's why she recording.
Hey! Get the fuck off her, you asshole! Leave her the fuck alone! I'm calling the cops! Come here, girl! Come here! Don't you fucking hurt her! Hey! Leave her alone! Oh! Oh my God! Oh!
Okay, so as you can hear or see from the audio, man. She literally didn't do anything but go to work. I never understand these obsessions people have with people. It's very mental illnessy to me. And you kind of have to watch who you allow in your life and in your circle as well, because a lot of people have that mentality of, if I can't have you, nobody can and nobody will. They don't care about destroying their lives in the end, because you are their life. And I think people, they take that lightly when people say that. I feel like she was not protected by anybody. There was somebody from the balcony up top screaming like, hey, don't do that, stop, please, but at the end of the day, there's not much she could have did or they could have did as well, because he ended up having a gun. And that is like so scary, that you're getting off at the end of your workday, you've done your duty, and you're walking to the parking lot, and the last person on earth that you want to see literally got a protective custody order against him, still shows up at your job and has a gun. And while you're on the phone with your 911 doing what you're supposed to do, being a law-abiding citizen, you still end up unalived in the process, because they are so unhinged and they can't believe that they lost you. And it'd be so crazy to me, because 9 times out of 10 in these relationships, the person that's being the most craziest and the obsessive is the one who cheated, or is the one who did wrong, or is the one who wasn't doing right in the relationship. And it's like they don't believe that you're ever going to leave them. So when you do, it's like a screw becomes loose in their head and they become unhinged. And that's just like such a scary place to be. I never want somebody to love me so much that they obsess over me, that I am the only thing in their life. You know what I mean? I want somebody to have their own extracurriculars, their own friends, visit their own family, have their own life outside this relationship, because an obsessive relationship becomes very toxic. And I just feel like, with the protective order, it really doesn't do anything but, give you a false sense of security, because at the end of the day, dispatch still has to get there. You know what I mean? And I feel for her, because if he would come to your job, I know she had no safety at home or felt safe riding around the streets or anything, because if he was willing to do that in the broad daylight in a parking lot and not care about the consequences, that just shows you how unhinged these people really be. And I really need my people in general, to really be cautious when dating these people. Really vet them out, really learn their background, really learn their family history, right? Really, instead of being like those people who be like, I don't want to talk to the ex ain't got nothing for me, talk to the ex. See why it didn't work out. Sometimes you have to delve deep into these people to understand them before it comes to an ending like this. Because all she wanted to do was end the relationship and go about her life. And people don't want to see you happy. They would rather see you miserable with them. And that's really the truth. And when you find that happiness and that strength within yourself, it can be a scary thing in relationships. And that's why I don't too much get into toxic relationships until it's time for me to intervene physically. No shade. But I don't really get into domestic violence relationships because it is hard for them to leave. Because things like this happen. That's why I hate when people put down domestic violence people and people in toxic relationships. Like, oh, you ain't gonna leave. They're probably scared to leave because this person has told them what will happen if they do leave. Y'all don't take that in consideration sometimes, and I always do. And it's a scary feeling in the depths of your heart to know. And it's also always ponder me that somebody who can profess and confess and tell you that they love you and they can't live without you can actually live without you by taking you away from this earth and from your family and from the things that you've created and put into this world, because you've moved on with your life and you no longer see anything with them. Relationships are a very scary thing, and you need to know who you're getting into this relationship with just in case you have to get out. Who wants to deal with a crazy stalker obsessive ex? Nobody. It's not cute. It's not sexy. It doesn't mean you have good coochie. It doesn't mean you have good sex. It doesn't mean any of that. It means that person is crazy and unhinged. But we're going to get into more of that after I share this next story with you guys. And this is the main one that really hit me because it happened a few weeks ago, but I'm just now getting to talk about it. But let's go into a couple of these clips and I'll be right back. It's a couple clips, y'all, so stay with me, but I want to give my opinion on this because it brings out broader topics and it makes me want to talk about more things. So check out these clips and then please stay back with me and we're going to get into my opinion.
I always talk about how when you got people that don't want to be around you or you don't want to be around them, it's best to just walk away. But what happened to Carlos Collins was horrible. This was horrible down in Jackson, Mississippi. I don't know if they've caught him yet, but the police right now are looking for a homicide suspect. His name is Marcus Johnson. He used to work for the Jackson Police Department. This is the monster right here, Marcus Johnson. Evil comes in every shape, size, form, and color. No matter who you are. Early this morning, the police were called to the scene of Tapestry Northridge Apartments off Parkway Drive near the Old Canton Road. Carlos made a lot of accomplishments in his life. He became a registered nurse, just like his mother. And this is a life that's gone too soon. And I could tell that he was well loved because of all the many posts on social media. He was well loved. What happened? This monster right here, this was a crime of passion. I'm going to tell you now, it was a crime of passion. I don't know what was going on, but there were signs. There were signs leading up to what happened to him early this morning. So Marcus broke into Carlos's house. He put several bullets inside of him. Then he took an axe and hit him 30 times. Then took a blade and hit him 22 times. He stole his keys, went and made a copy of this guy's keys. He had air tags on his car. He stalked this guy, tracked him down, and Carlos never knew it. Carlos had a restraining order against Marcus. And looking at Marcus's background and why he was let go from the JPD, this guy should have been locked up. And I feel personally that the justice system let Carlos down. They failed him. And from what I gather is Carlos didn't want to be with him anymore. They broke up. They broke it off. And Marcus wasn't trying to let him go. This mouth breather, he worked for JPD for about 8 months. And then he was separated from that police department because of disciplinary actions that led up to his termination. He was already a menace.
Here at the Tapestry Apartments, where Jackson police are investigating a homicide. Now, earlier we saw crime scene tape lined across the scene, and there was a heavy police presence. We were able to talk with the family before getting kicked off the property, and lots of family and friends of the victim, who they say is Carlos Collins, came from the Yazoo after hearing about the incident. The family says Collins had filed several restraining orders against the alleged suspect.
They said it was heinous up there. There was a lot of blood the way he was killed. Gunshot wounds and an axe was used, they say. Yeah.
The family gave us a picture of Collins, who was a registered nurse, also from Yazoo. We've reached out to JPD to learn more about the nature of this crime, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more.
This is sad, but like I said, there were signs. I mean, this is all over this guy's social media. I mean, signs everywhere. I didn't even want to play these videos. I just wanted y'all to see there was signs. Just right, it was just on the 23rd. And like I said, you know, even some of the family, or I don't know if that's his family or friend or whatever, but like they said, you know, there were warning signs. This guy was giving out warnings that were leading up to what happened early this morning. I don't know what the current state is right now. I don't know if they've already arrested him or if he took the wimpy way out and, you know, took the alternate route. I don't know yet. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But pray for this family. Pray for Mrs. Hudson. That's Carlos's mother. Man, justice for Carlos. But I'll keep you guys updated. Hopefully they catch him and make it.
Never making a bitch. It's either me or nobody else in this world. Bitch, I love you to death.
Up at their family home to reflect on what has happened since early this morning when they got the news. 12 News' Cameron Smith spoke with the family following their major loss.
I would have rather him shoot me, beat me with an axe. It's okay. Not my baby. Not him.
Ashla Hudson, the mother of Carlos, says her son was killed by
Marcus Johnson, an ex-boyfriend of his, and who Carlos had restraining order on.
Hudson says Johnson
followed my son to M-Bar.
And Marcus was sitting in a booth behind him. Hudson says Carlos filed a restraining order against Johnson, and some of her family members asked Marcus to leave that evening.
That's when security was alerted. But the security guards at M-Bar said that they couldn't do anything because they didn't actively have the restraining order there. So, leading up to this morning, I feel if they had arrested him Saturday night, my son still will be alive.
I'm here with Carlos Collins' family as they are grieving.
Yes, around 4 p.m., detectives brought in 33-year-old Marcus Johnson back to JPD after being away for quite some time. Video captures the moment the detectives took him in for questioning. Now, he did not say anything as he was escorted inside, but Johnson was wanted for allegedly axing, then killing his ex-boyfriend, Carlos Collins, Tuesday. Johnson was captured in Rayville, Louisiana, Wednesday after leading police on a high-speed chase. He worked for JPD for 8 months before he was separated from the department on pending disciplinary actions leading up to his termination. Chief Joseph Wade says Johnson resigned September of 2013 before he could be terminated. Now, it's unsure at this time when Johnson's initial appearance will take place tomorrow, but after fleeing from police, it could look like that he might face more charges on top of murder. Live here at JPD headquarters, Madeline Nolan, 16 WAPT News.
He wanted to be a nurse like his mom. He was just doing all the things that he needed to do to make his life well. And the way that Marcus really did that, man, was just it was disgusting. And I hope he goes under the jail, because at the end of the day, I just never understood why you can't. That's why I don't understand obsession, because I don't feel like they love you. I don't feel like they love you, and that's where, you know what, it can even become a difficult conversation, because it's a thin line between love and hate. Have you ever seen that movie? It's definitely a thin line between love and hate. A person can love you so much and see that you're really over them and you really don't want to be with them anymore, and it can make them go deranged. It can make them lose all their marbles, and now, like I said, if they can't have you, nobody else can, and nobody else will. They don't even understand or appreciate you most of the time, these people that become obsessed. And once you leave them, they see all the things that they will be losing, all the love and trust that they will be losing. And it makes them go crazy is what I feel. And it makes them even become enraged and envious and hateful of anybody who they think might even be able to appreciate and love and care for you. And then it makes them want to snuff out your life because they feel like if they don't deserve you, nobody deserves you, you know? And I just feel like that's not fair sometimes. I just feel like it's hard lessons that some people have to learn. And it also helps to teach other people because in LGBTQ community, domestic violence, you know, it's like those two boys, those two girls, you know, that ain't nothing. They just fighting. No, it's really not. It really needs to be intervened and it really needs to be challenged. Because accidents, even if you're not trying to hurt somebody, an accident can happen. Somebody can bump their head while you're fighting or anything. I had something a couple years back happen in my town where it was this lesbian couple and they got drunk one night and they got into an argument. They got into a physical fight and the other girl choked her girlfriend and the girl was unalived. But they were so drunk that the other lesbian didn't even know. You know what I mean? She didn't even know what she had done. And she woke up trying to wake her girlfriend up. And because accidents happen, emotions and passions rise. And I just feel like people don't take gay people domestic violence serious. And it's very serious. It's not okay for you guys to fight. It's not okay for you to put your hands on them because they're a boy or because they're a girl or any of that stuff. It's not right. It's domestic violence all around the board. And also another thing that I hate is when I see statuses or tweets or things of that nature saying like, you know, my coochie so good that he bust my windows out. My coochie so good that he broke my phone. My sex so good that he blacked my eye. He threw my head against the washer and dryer. I think that's another reason why people don't take domestic violence and toxic relationships seriously because it's actually glorified through social media nowadays. Do you think that domestic violence and toxic relationships are glorified nowadays? I feel like everybody wants a toxic trait. I feel like everybody wants I'm mean, I'm this, I'm that, I slap my person, I do this, I do that. And they think it's cool, but it's really a mental illness. And it also is a form of you not knowing how to be communicative. Did you ever think about that? So what do y'all guys think? Do you think that social media is making it normalized to be in a domestic violence relationship and or a toxic relationship? Because I kind of teeter on that a little bit because I feel like when people glorify these type of things within themselves, when people look at that on social media, they're like, oh, well, if they're going through it and I go through it and it's no big deal for them, so it's no big deal for me. And that's how some people really think when it comes to social media. And that's why social media can be so dangerous. I feel like people really need to learn themselves before they get in a relationship. And Carlos was so young. He had his whole life ahead of him, you know, and that's why I tell people that you shouldn't really date when you're young, or you should date, but don't date for seriousness unless you see some seriousness in this person. I have been with my person since I was 18 and I am now 28. So it's okay to date young when you see the potential. And also, it's not Carlos's fault that this man was unhinged. I'm not blaming anything on Carlos, but I am saying to everybody out there as a warning, you don't have to get all in and give somebody all of you when you're young and going for your goals and being ambitious. This is your time to be selfish. This is your time to think about you. This is your time to get your party out and all of that. Don't get tied down to a loser or an obsessive person or someone who doesn't see it for you and they just want to hold you down. And I just feel like people need to really love themselves more to really understand that there's more out there for them. This person, there's plenty of other fish in the sea, you know, but when they see all the potential that you hold and they see what you potentially can be and what you are working towards and you don't want them to be a part of that anymore, they feel shoved out and now they feel violent, I feel. And that's how I feel about this obsessive type relationship type stuff. And I also feel like gay people really need to take a look in the mirror and really understand that any type of violence against you is toxic and it's domestic violence. It's not okay because that's another boy. It's not okay because that's another girl. It's wrong. It's wrong. And people in general need to be mindful of what they post on social media. If you like to get your head knocked up against the washer and you like to get your windows busted out and your phone broken, all that goofy stuff, keep it to yourself. Look dumb to yourself, because you could be influencing younger people. You could be influencing people with not as free thinking minds as you to feel like they're making excuses for their domestic violence and their toxic relationship because it's cool to get slapped around, says social media. I never was onto that trend. I don't want nobody putting their hands on me, and I don't want to put my hands on nobody. In vulnerable moment, I used to be that type of person that used to really think that, oh, you my boyfriend, you're a boy, I can fight you. Why not? We the same sex, so why not? But it's because it's not right at the end of the day. It's not right. And I'm so glad I grew up out of that. Like, I did not bring that in with me to my 20s. Because at the end of the day, I don't have time for it. I just don't have time for that. And like I said, I've been with my person for 10 years. It's all about communication, and it's all about being vulnerable, and it's all about having your own life and not letting this person be so obsessed with you that they only see you and they don't even know how to even think to live without you. I don't want anybody to be scared to live without me, because life has to go on. One day we all won't be here. What do you do once your spouse passes away? Does it hurt them more that they know that you're still alive? Those are questions that I ask myself sometimes. I really do ask myself that sometimes. Like, what would make somebody so obsessed with somebody that they're willing to go to prison for life, ruin their whole life or whatever they got going on, all because they're obsessed with somebody because they don't want to be with them anymore? It's so many sad endings to those stories. It's rarely happy endings. And I just want people to be aware and wake up and understand that domestic violence and toxic relationships is not the only thing that you deserve and not the only thing that you can get. Every relationship might not be perfect, but there are some relationships that's way better than some of the stuff that y'all be dealing with out here. Trust me. There's somebody for you that can love and cater to you every which way that you need. Toxic relationships start off with small things too, I feel, as well. Like, it can start off like, oh, I don't like when you wear that dress. I don't like when you wear those shorts. I don't like when you go out with your friends. I don't like when you do. Once they start nitpicking, and also understand when somebody is trying to create boundaries and when they are being toxic. There's ways that are very different from somebody just trying to create boundaries with you by saying, this makes me feel uncomfortable when you hang out with this person, or this makes me feel uncomfortable when you wear this without me. That's a different story than when somebody is trying to control you. And once somebody feels like they can't control you, 9 times out of 10 or 8 times, whatever you want to say, once they feel like they are missing that control from you, they don't no longer feel like you have a purpose to live. It's crazy, y'all. And also, I want you guys to always take your exes or obsessed person or stalker or anything. I want you to take their threats seriously. Because like with the Carlos situation, he had been threatened on Facebook and people had actually seen it. But they didn't just take it seriously. And I need for people to start taking these threats seriously, because these people are serious. Their emotions are serious to them. Their feelings are serious to them. Their thoughts are serious to them. And I need for you guys to take precautions. And like I said, I even asked you guys, what are more precautions that you can take besides just getting a restraining order or a protective custody order? Because like I said, I feel like that is a false sense of hope. I feel like that gives you a false sense of security, because at the end of the day, what can you do but throw the paper at them? You know what I mean? I feel like the police never come on time, and we've seen that even in movies. That's a real thing. Like I said, the first story, she was on the phone with dispatch. She did everything she was supposed to do. Should they have to uproot their lives and move just because somebody is unhinged? And I feel like that's not a bad thing to do when you want to protect your life and your livelihood. Because like I said, these stories don't ever end in a positive light. And I'm really praying for Carlos Carlton and his family, and the young lady who was gunned down in the parking lot. I'm praying for them because this happens every day and more often than we think and that we know. And I just want all the parents out there that's watching, the cousins, the aunties, the uncles, the friends of people going through this, protect them. Don't judge them. Don't belittle them. Don't berate them. Don't tell them what they should do. Don't tell them they stupid for not doing something. You just run them right back into the arms of their abuser. Yeah, clock that T. Take a second and really inhale that in. Be more kind. Be more understanding, even if you've never been through that situation before. Understand that this is all a mind game as well. It's not just physical. And understand that sometimes they're scared to leave. Parents, always be there for your parents. Parents, always be there for your kids, whether they're gay, straight, bi, or other. We will always need you to protect us and give us advice and guiding hand to where we need to be. If you see your kids are in a situation, offer them your house, offer them your help, offer them something other than criticism, because it only makes them run back to their abuser. Trust me, that's all it does. And I almost forgot. I also want to talk about this story, which isn't really about relationships, but more so about being cautious while dating. Now, this is going to be quick. I just want to shed some little about dating. And I'm going to play the clip right now, and I'm going to come back, and I want to know your guys' thoughts on all these as well. Please make sure you comment on the video and tell me your thoughts. Tell me, what do you think is the difference from creating boundaries and being controlling? Do you think there is more that the police can do? And also, what are more steps you can take to protect yourself other than a protective order or a restraining order? But let's get into this next clip because it was very sad.
With pink balloons, people leaning on each other after a gruesome discovery following a woman's death.
19-year-old Sade Robinson died earlier this month. Investigators say a man killed, then dismembered her after their first date. 12 News' Emily Polfall reports on a vigil tonight in Kilbourne Reservoir Park, which is close to Robinson's home.
Let's celebrate the life of Sade Robinson.
Sade Robinson, described by the people who loved her most.
Anybody who knew Sade knew that she was different from everybody else. She went through a lot even before she died. She never let it break her. She was the strongest person I know.
She was my best friend. I will miss her. We had so much happiness and fun together.
Between the tears and memories shared, a resounding plea.
Justice for Sade!
Justice for Sade!
The bright, loving 19-year-old murdered just 1 month before she was supposed to graduate college.
We are tired. Yes. We are sick. Yes. This is not okay.
But this is very, very tough for me and my family. And it's going to be tremendously hard to move on living.
But they aren't doing it alone. Dozens from the community, many strangers, showed up to a vigil Friday to support Robinson's grieving family.
Because you remember what we have, Michael, is we have a dismembered young lady. That means body parts are going to be discussed. Photos are likely going to be introduced of the young girl's body or whatever was left of it. And there's going to be a lot of finger wagging and finger pointing at him. I have a feeling that whoever this young Maxwell is, in light of this crime and in light of his appearing through counsel, if you will, that there is a mental health problem going on. I just have a feeling that at some point counsel is going to have a doubt about their client's competency to proceed, because this is clearly beyond the pale. It'd be interesting to find out what led police to him. I don't know if that has been made public yet, but I can tell you right now it's not looking good for this guy. He's charged with first-degree premeditated murder, which is obviously a life top.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what the probable cause hearing would have brought out, just a little bit of it. He was the last person seen with her. They have witnesses, they have surveillance videos, they have her Apple tracking device that places them at a place having dinner, then going to a bar, going back to his place, her car, then going and driving away from his place to the place where they found body parts. They have a person going from the car to the shore, back to the car, to the shore. They've got all that on him, David Bruno. There's a lot there to deal with. He also has a little bit of a background in domestic violence, and also beating someone up on the street who was trying to stop him from being in an argument with a woman. So there's a lot to work with here.
Man. And that's why I was saying earlier about vetting out who you date. This internet dating stuff has always been scary since it ever first started. You know what I mean? You don't know who actually you're meeting. Even if it's not a fake picture, it can be their fake personality. And this young lady, this young black beautiful queen, went on a date and her body was found in pieces later. And I just feel like people need to be more cautious when dating. And I understand we want to have fun. We're young. We're just trying to experience love. We're trying to experience things and not fear everything in the world, right? But you have to be cautious. You don't have to fear everything, but you should be cautious when moving in this world because everybody is not moving like you. Everybody is not thinking like you. Some of these people have sinister, insidious minds, and they want to take the enjoyment of it, you know? And this was a white man who did this to her. And it's kind of scary. It gives me Jeffrey Dahmer tease because they're saying they're finding more bodies and that might be connected to him. And I just want to know, like, I just be wanting to know, do this be more psycho thing? Like, do they be obsessed with black people flesh? Because it's just kind of weird. This story was just very weird and very disheartening, and it makes me scared for single people in my family that go on dates and that meet people online and things of that nature, because you never know what somebody's plot or plan is for you. You're going out with open heart, open mind, trying to meet somebody, and they literally dismember you and throw you in a lake. It's like very scary out here. It's very scary. These people, this climate that we're in, these people aren't looking for love. They're looking for someone to control and abuse and hold power over. And it's kind of scary. Not kind of, it's very scary. So I just want y'all to be cautious when dating in these internet streets and dating in general. Vet these people out. Go on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dates. What's wrong with going on a lot of dates? What's wrong with really getting to know each other before I bring you back to my house or I'll go back to yours, even if it's not just for sex? Just to go back to your house for a glass of wine and a conversation. I need to know you a little bit more. I would rather deal with you in a restaurant or a crowded place than you take me to a secluded place with you and I don't know you. I'm not meeting you at your house on our first date. It's not because I'm bougie and I want to eat at a steakhouse. It's because I don't trust you and I'm scary and I'm paranoid. Because stuff like this, people need to take that into consideration. That's why dates are so important, to get to know somebody, to go on those dates, meet their parents, meet their friends. And even then, it's not guaranteed that this person is sane, because we have, like I said, the other two stories that we had, these people were dating these people. People who they loved, who they slept with every night, who they made love to, who they made plans and dreams with, who they confessed their secrets to. These people ended up snuffing them out in the end because they couldn't have them. And it's a dangerous mindset to hold, you know? And it's scary dating because you don't know anybody's motives. So that's why my advice is to go on a couple dates and make sure they're well lit and well crowded. You know, get to know these people. We don't know these people. We're giving them a chance, of course, and go in with an open mind and an open heart. But also go in there knowing that you don't know this person and what they're capable of as well. And I'm just praying for all the families that was involved in any of these stories. It's so disheartening and it's so scary in this world today. And I pray for anybody out there that deals with domestic violence and that also deals with toxic relationships. It's going to be okay. And you know who has to make it be okay? You have to make it be okay. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your best friend, nobody can tell you when it's time to go. You have to just be tired. You have to understand your worth. You have to know that you deserve better. You deserve more love. You have to understand these things and follow the steps that you need to do to get out of these situations, because it's only going to get worse. It never gets better. The person never changes. They find a victim, they victimize them, and they keep on victimizing them as long as they can. And sometimes it gets scary because when they no longer have access to you to victimize you, they unalive you. So that's why I tell you, watch how you're pressuring people to leave relationships and you're telling them they're stupid and you don't know your worth and all this stuff, because you don't know what that person is doing to them or telling them or scaring them or threatening them. You don't know. So be cautious and lead with love in everything that you do. And here are my final thoughts of the whole situations. I'm just going to tell you my final thoughts. I do have them written down in my notepad because, I got to keep my thoughts focused. So I started off with saying it's not because he loves you why he puts his hands on you or stalked you or any of those forms of control. They view you as an object, a possession. And when they feel like you are moving on and you no longer are serving your objective to them, you no longer serve an objective, you no longer serve a purpose for this world. And it enrages them when you move on. It's a thin line between love and hate, and that's always scary. Have you ever seen that movie? It's very scary how someone can love you so much that they hate you. And that goes with any type of relationship, like friendships, family members, all type of resentment and envy is scary. It's scary for them to see you move on and not be at their every beck and call and deal with the stuff that they put you through. When you sit and poop, it starts to not stink anymore. And once you get out of that and you smell the fresh air, it enrages them. If someone really loves you, they will never hurt you. And I always felt that if someone really loves you, they will love you enough to let you go as well and be happy. If they're not able to make you happy, why? And that's where I say people will rather see you miserable with them than happy by yourself or with someone else. They don't mind you being miserable with them because they still have that control over you. They still have your mind in their mind. They still have you under control. And that's all that matters. So all that my sex so good, that's why he knocked my head against the washer and dryer. My sex so good, that's why he bust my windows out. My sex so good, that's why he break my phone. Stop all that stuff, because all you're doing is glorifying domestic violence and glorifying toxic relationships. This generation is so crazy. Like, they glorify these toxic behaviors and they say out loud that I'm toxic. And instead of posting it on the internet, you need to go get some counseling, because it's not cool to be toxic to somebody. It's not okay. It's not all right to put your hands on people. It's just not. So I just think we need to stop glorifying domestic violence and toxic behaviors. A lot of times that's why people don't even realize that they're in a toxic relationship or a domestic violence relationship, because it's so normalized. It's so like, oh, so she gets slapped up and she okay, and they compare themselves to other people so much. And that's why I say the internet can be such a dangerous and scary place, because it can influence you into thinking, oh, since she do it or they do it, I can do it too. No, nobody should be doing it. And that's just pure point blank. They think that it's supposed to go because everybody glorifying being toxic. Everybody glorifies it. And they think that it's just normal now. Like, okay, he slapped me, but it's still my man. He still come home. Like, it's not a win. And honestly, it's not cute. If it's not them taking your life on purpose, it could be on accident. And I already kind of let you know the story that I knew about that, about how a couple one of them accidentally unalived the other one. It's sick. It makes you sick at the end because it was an accident. But that's why you need to learn how to not let your rage control you. I also feel like domestic violence starts small and then gets big. It starts with, don't wear this, and I don't like when you go out with your friends and that type of stuff. But I also want people to understand, because I don't want people to get scared and just think every relationship somebody's trying to do something to you, because that's not the truth. I also want people to understand the difference between boundaries and someone being controlling. Someone could want to create boundaries with you and say, I don't like this. Can you change this? And it's different than somebody trying to rapidly change you or rapidly isolate you from people. That's a little different. So I want people to understand that the difference of creating boundaries and also somebody trying to control you, because I feel like a lot of people nowadays be like, oh, you can't control me. I ain't letting no man control me. I ain't letting you tell me I can't wear this. I ain't letting you tell me I got to be home here. I ain't letting no woman tell me I ain't. Listen, sometimes it's good to have some control in your relationship and healthy boundaries. It's okay to miss a Saturday out when you're in a relationship. And I think people feel like that makes them, oh, he's controlling. Oh, he's toxic. No, sometimes they are just trying to create boundaries. And I feel like that's the problem with these relationships. They don't want to create boundaries. I want to be in a relationship, but I also want to do what I want. And that's a conversation for a whole nother video. Like I said earlier, I just feel like obsession is weird. Like, they love you so much that they hate you. It's just, like I said, a thin line between love and hate. They mentally don't want to see anybody with you, even though they didn't know how to handle you. It's your fault that you lost me most of the time, but you want to take it out on me. I never understood that. It's just something to ponder on. Also, like I said, restraining orders are a false sense of hope. And it always reminds me of that part in Enough when J-Lo goes to the police officer and says, so if I get a restraining order, what am I supposed to do? Like throw a piece of paper at him? And then the police says, like with a smirk, like, no, you call us. That don't always work, because it's not like he's doing this or they're doing this by a police station. So I just feel like sometimes that can come off as, being a smart, you know what I mean? So it's not like a patrol is going to be circling my house until he just decides, or they just decide like, oh, I don't want to even mess with them no more. That's not what's happening here. Okay. So I just feel like it gives you a false sense of hope, and it gives you a false sense of security as well. And I feel like you need to make extra precautions. Get those licenses, get those things that can help you, that mace, those tasers, get those things that can help you. Get them. Learn how to self-defense. Learn, you got to, because you're going to only be able to protect yourself in the end. Take threats seriously that they put out about you, or they say to you, or any shade or any of that, because you never know what they're really going through mentally, and they could really mean everything that they're saying. So you want to take the threats very seriously. Their cryptic messages and haunting messages. That's what happened to Carlos. All his family and friends and himself seen all those messages, but he did everything he was supposed to do legally. So what else are you supposed to do? I would keep on filing charges. I would keep, every time somebody I think the status is about me, or I think I'm going to do it until you are in jail. Okay. And that's why I say, why does the victim have to do all these precautions and have to do like one story said, like he was in the restaurant. The restaurant says, well, you don't got the restraining order on you right now. So what can we do? Why would I lie? I mean, it's just nonsense. Hey, people don't get taken seriously when it comes to domestic abuse, because we are the same sex. And that's a very dangerous mindset to have. And I want to talk to my gay people right now. It is not okay for you to put your hands on your boyfriend or your girlfriend because y'all are the same sex. And it's not okay for them to do it to you because y'all are the same sex. Don't let them manipulate you and gaslight you into thinking that. Use your words and use your conversation. You should never want to even hurt somebody in that way. You should just learn how to talk and use your words. And if somebody is putting their hands on you, being controlling, and doesn't want a relationship to end, it doesn't mean they love you or they're obsessed with you. They're obsessed at the way you let them control you most of the time. It's not cute. I always hear people say in LGBTQ community, I hit my man. I did this. I did that. It's not okay just because that's another man. So stop the malarkey. Please, just stop. Okay, so next for the young lady, the first clip that I showed you guys, I just really wonder, did she ever feel safe? Because if somebody can come in broad daylight in front of people that's literally yelling at the top of their lungs for you to stop, what would have ever stopped him but what else would have stopped him? What else? I just really feel for her, and I just feel for her family, and people don't know what they take away from this world just because you're so selfish. You've lived without this person before. You came in this world alone, and so have they. They have the right, and they deserve the right to move on. They deserve it. They deserve it. And you deserve to find your own peace because you don't have it. Because if you feel like if you lose somebody, your whole world falls apart, that's mentally unstable. No matter what you want to try to sugarcoat it and put some ice cream and cherries on it, you're mentally unstable. You're mentally unwell, and you need help. Because at the end of the day, they deserve to live a life. You have no right to take anybody's life. And I just wonder with the Carlos situation, was it because he was a police officer or ex-police officer that they didn't take it seriously? You know, the good old boys stick together most of the time. And also, was it because he was black or was it because he was gay? And that's one of the things we'll never know. It could be two of the three or all three or one of the three. Or it could be none of the three, you know, because women don't get taken seriously as well. And that's why a lot of them end up in the situations that they do. And it's not fair for the victim to have to keep running and fearing for their life. You know, that's not fair. It's not. The laws don't protect the victim. It literally protects the predator most of the time. Also, I just want to talk about when we talk about dating, you know, a lot of people say like, I date the bus driver or whatever the case may be. And that's fine and dandy for you. But also date somebody on your mental capacity that you have things in common with. Because at the end of the day, you don't know where somebody mental is. And that's why I say you need to go on those 9 and 10 dates. Why y'all scared to go on dates? But y'all ain't scared to go back to somebody's house and... Yeah, what happened to courting? What happened to courtship? Court this person before you ask them to come back to the house, because then you have sort of an idea of them if they're sketchy or not. One date, you don't know nothing. You meet somebody this day today and you go back to their house. Y'all don't ever think about that stuff? Y'all don't? Because I do. I literally do, because I know it's people that's unstable and looking for a bad time. So you have to be careful. They don't care about you. All they care about is their thrills. And that's why I say date on your level and date somebody who's at your mental capacity and date somebody who's trying to strive and do things that you're trying to do, because they'll just drag you down or they'll end up ending you, literally. So you have to, I wish Carlos would have dated somebody more on his level, because no shade, Marcus is hideous. He's ugly. No shade. He just looked dusty. Looked like he wear Burlington outfits, you know, and that's no shade to my Burlington boys out there, you know. But I'm just saying, that's what I'm getting from him. And Carlos give me, you know, I'm really striving for something. I'm going to school. I'm going to be a nurse like my mom. I'm really doing something in life. You know, he was cute. You know, he was young, you know. So he reminds me of somebody that I know. And they never date people that's in their league, and they always going through something. And I just wish people would understand that it's okay to date above yourself sometimes and in your league. Also, it's okay to be single, because sometimes being in a relationship can be a distraction and it can be dangerous as well. It's okay to love yourself and take time to learn yourself, especially when you're young. Carlos was so young. He was so young. The other young lady was 19. The other young lady was 28. They were so young. They were so young. It's okay to be single in your 20s. It's okay to be single in your 30s. It's okay to be single in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s. Okay? Because you need to learn to love yourself so that if your partner does even pass away, you don't lose your mind. You know, you learn how to get along and live and learn how to value their love that they did have for you, because everybody's here for an expired period of time. And I just don't feel like anybody has the right to take that away from them. It's your human experience, and only somebody can bring peace or chaos. And you need to choose what you want, because after a while, that chaos is just going to manifest itself into something dangerous. You have to always choose yourself in the end and get out fast. Don't let the years pile up, because then it's even harder. And I'm not somebody who could just give advice. I'm not a counselor. I didn't go to school for this, but I'm somebody who cares. And I really want people to understand that it is okay to be alone. It is okay to be single. I know it gets lonely. I know it gets lonely, but it's definitely okay to be safe and single. Because there's nothing out here but danger most of the time. Vet out these people and really learn them. You never know who's really crazy in this world until you know. And you never really know anybody. You could be sleeping right next to the enemy and you'll never know. And it's kind of a spooky feeling. It's kind of an eerie feeling to not know if this person who confess and profess that they love you and they care about you and they never want to see you hurt. I know that's like a heart-wrenching feeling to see them as your murderer. We confessed so many things to each other. We professed our love and we made our plans and dreams together. Only for that person to turn on you just because you no longer feel that love and you no longer feel that commitment to them that they probably shattered themselves. Learn to love yourself and learn to be alone, because sometimes that's your safest option. And that's my final thought on the whole situation, y'all. Now, I'm adding a new segment to my platform, and I'm going to read questions that people have sent me on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or your comments right here on YouTube, and I'm going to answer them. It's going to be called Jacan Milan's Advice. So let's get right into those. This is Jacan Milan's Advice. Answer questions that you guys send to me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or comment on my YouTube video, and I answer them at my best abilities, and I give you my advice on the situation. Like I always say, this is my opinion, and everybody has their own, but you asked for mine, so I'm going to give it to you. So this person wanted to remain anonymous and said, how do you get over someone who you know is toxic? You know it was like you survived poison once, but something in you wants to try it again. That's the thing about toxic relationships. They're thrilling. And when they're good, they're good. They're so good. They have you on a high. And when they're bad, they're real bad. And they have you real low. So low you feel like you probably won't even never get up again. And what I say to that is, remember those lows. Really put yourself into those feelings you had. And remember those lows that you were at in that relationship. Remember how that person made you feel when they said bad things to you, or hurt you, or cheated on you, or just didn't show you enough attention and love. Really understand what type of love that you deserve and what you yourself will consider and what you won't consider when it comes to love. Form your boundaries and make sure you stand tall on them, because people will knock them down every chance that they get. Know that you are worth more than that toxic relationship, that you are worth more than that toxic person, and you deserve someone who will give you the love and cherishment that you need, because toxic relationships, all in all, are just a waste of your time. Okay, and this wanted to be anonymous as well, and they said, I think my man is cheating with his baby mama, but when I confront him about it, he denies it. I'm trying to see how should I handle the situation. I want to remain anonymous. I be wanting to go sit by his house just to see, but he have my location. Am I doing too much? Because the Gemini in me is peaking. I know he be lying. The male Cancer will lie so fast. First of all, we ain't going to do no Cancer scrutiny around here, because we is not liars. We just truth avoiders. I'm just playing. See, I don't lie as a Cancer, man. I really don't. I feel like honesty is the best policy, because who going to be my, who's going to give me a whooping? Like, at the end of the day, what is really the big consequences of me telling the truth? I'm a grown up. I have to keep it real. You know what I mean? And I feel like when it comes to this relationship, I feel like you should just be honest. That'd be the biggest thing that people can be. And I know it's scary. I know it's so scary to open up and be honest and be like, hey, I feel insecure about you and your BM. And I just want to know. Just tell me the truth. What is going on with y'all? Because at the end of the day, you have to also remember that him and his baby mama is always going to have a relationship. And that's another thing about dating someone with kids or with a baby mama. That person is going to be in their life forever, and you all honestly got to respect it. But there is boundaries that needs to be set when it comes to them dealing with their baby mama. If he no longer has feelings for them, if they're no longer together, and he is with you. And I just feel like you need to just be honest. You know what I mean? And all that investigating stuff and digging and stuff, it seems like it's going to get you the answer, but it's only going to make you madder. I feel like you have to go straight to the source and really ask him, like, what's going on? I just feel insecure about this situation. I feel insecure about this. And if he's your man, he should be able to understand that and not judge you for feeling insecure. And it doesn't mean you have to feel insecure because she has a baby with him, or baby or they think that you think she's cuter than you, or blah blah blah. It's none of that. I feel insecure because my man is sleeping with someone who he has a child with, and he's not being honest about it. You're making me insecure, not her. You owe me the loyalty, not her. So at the end of the day, if he ain't telling you the truth, I go to the baby mama. Because the baby mama's messy and they going to tell you the truth, honey. They going to keep it all the way 100, honey. They going to be like, yes, me and Ray been humping for 3 months since y'all been together. That's my baby daddy. And I'm never only my baby daddy. So I just feel like either you should ask Boo, like, hey, what's the dealio? This is making me feel some type of way. I need an answer. Or you should ask the baby mama if you really, really want to answer. And if you just really feel like it in your heart and in your gut that it's going down and you don't even want to deal with it no more, leave that right at the curb that you found him and let him be with his baby mama. That's another thing I be want to say. Let them be with their baby mamas. Let them and go deal and go live your life on. You don't have to deal with the baby mama drama unless you the baby mama or the baby daddy. Period. Go live your life. But if you really just want to know, I suggest the other two things in my professional opinion. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear this, but I love when you guys send me voice memos. I love it. I get to hear you guys' voice. I get to hear the inflection of what you're saying. It lets me know the seriousness of the situation. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear this, but I also will be playing it so that you guys can hear it as well. But this person wanted to be anonymous as well. But this is one of my subscribers. I love you, Boo. I love you so much. And you know this. I love you, baby. And of course, you already knew I was going to answer your question. But I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I'm going to play it as well. And I'm going to give my opinion.
What's your advice about staying with the same guy over and over again through all the mistakes, or moving on and starting all over?
Okay, so the gist of that was, what do you think about staying with the person and forgiving them for all their mistakes after all this, or going with somebody new? Now, a lot of people feel like it's better to be with the devil you know than to be with the devil that you don't. Because you never know what you're getting into with the next person. But that's also, the thing about dating. And like I said, dating can be very dangerous. It can be very treacherous. It can be all those things, but it also can be a wonderful experience from what you did deal with, from what you have been through. I think a lot of people get in this fear of only knowing what they know when it comes to relationships and only knowing what they've dealt with, right, when it comes to relationships. So they are internally scared to shift, because they think it might get worse, but they don't also think about it could be better. You could meet someone that you only met for 2 months that treats you better than you knew somebody for 10 years. You know what I mean? So you can't be scared to take that leap of faith and jump to the next path, because then you'll never go anywhere and you'll just stay on the same path and see the same things. You'll see the same results over and over again. Like I said, some people feel like it's better to know the devil that you know, the devil that you don't, but I've never been a fan of that. I also feel like if the mistakes isn't cheating And it's other things that it can be worked out on if you really care about this person and this person really cares about you. And even cheating can be worked out on. Yeah, I know. I said it. Y'all can work through cheating. You can. It's going to take a lot more work to do that, I feel. But if the person is worth it, counseling and really talking and being vulnerable with each other goes a long way. If you want to keep this person, there's nothing wrong with accepting somebody for their flaws and giving them chances, a million chances when you really love somebody. Think how many times you didn't give family member chances and things of that nature. Your relationship, they become a part of your family. And I feel like if they are trying at least to change, then they deserve second chances and third chances and fourth chances and fifth chances. And if you just see that this is not going to. So like I said, I just feel like if the person deserves as many chances as you're willing to give, but you have to be careful with giving out so many chances, right? Because after a while, it will create a bitterness or even a sort of resentment towards your partner because you've been giving them so many chances and taking them back. So watch who you're giving the chances to. Like I always say, I consider as long as it ain't no cheating involved, I'm involved in a relationship. We can work through anything and get through everything as long as there is no infidelity. But that's not the end all be all to a relationship. You can take somebody back after cheating if you feel like they've really learned their lesson and you feel like y'all have really moved on from the situation and they won't do it again. I don't necessarily request it, but I'm just saying if the person is worth it, you don't have to get rid of them because they cheated. Mistakes happen and things happen, especially when you're young and you're learning yourself and you're growing in this world. So I just feel like if the person is worth it, they're always going to be worth it. But be mindful of giving people too many chances that don't deserve them because they're just going to see that as I can play in your face and you're going to let me. So you got to be mindful with both of the two. But I just feel like when it comes to relationships, I always make a pros and a cons list. And if the pros outweigh the cons, then there's nothing that we need to discuss. But if the cons outweigh the pros, we got some discussing to do. And, it's hard decisions, hard conversations, and sometimes that's good for you to grow. So you could either grow from this experience, and that could be a good thing. And like I said, some people like the devil they know more than the devil they don't, but sometimes the next person won't be a devil at all. It'll actually be an angel sent to protect you and give you love and guidance that you need. Clock it. Okay, so I just want to say thank you guys so much for sending those questions in, and please send more. Comment on this video. Please go and DM me on Instagram, DM me on TikTok, and send me more questions in. I love doing this at the end of my videos. And also make sure you comment and like the video. What do you think about the video? Do you think that domestic violence isn't taken seriously by police? Do you think that a protective order really protects you at all? Do you think there is more steps that you can take when protecting yourself against toxic relationships and domestic violence? And if so, give us some tips below. We want to know everything we can to help everybody. Also, if you don't have anything else to comment, just comment a hey boo, hey under. And also, just join the conversation. Just comment what you think of the video. Give your opinions about the video. I want to hear it all. Of course, this is my opinions, but I love to hear everybody else's opinions as well. Please make sure that you like, comment, and share the video if you care. Also, go look at some of my old videos, like, comment, and share those as well. I'm Shakeia Milan, darling, and this has been my opinion, and I appreciate everyone who is here listening, who is subscribing, who is commenting, who is liking, who is sharing, and who is just viewing the video. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all soon.
Not on my level.
And the agreements, crystal PNT, little bills, the potential candy. Santa deceased, central and free from Milan to Japan with Miss Romance. If you can't dance and if you can't sing, put your hands in the air about your dancing. See it to the beat.